The air crackled with tension. Moses and Aaron stood before Pharaoh. The palace shimmered with gold and echoed with whispers. But silence fell as Moses spoke. His voice was quiet but firm. He delivered God's message. "Let my people go," he declared. Pharaoh's face twisted in defiance. He was the ruler of Egypt. He scoffed at the idea of a foreign god challenging his authority. Who was this god to demand such a thing? He would not be swayed by threats or pleas. He refused. The staff transformed. It became a serpent, large and fearsome. Its scales gleamed under the palace lights. Its tongue flickered, tasting the air. Pharaoh's own magicians stepped forward. They were masters of illusion, skilled in trickery and deception. They too threw down their staffs. They too produced serpents. The room buzzed with a strange energy. The stench of fear hung heavy in the air. Whose magic would prevail? But Aaron's serpent moved with lightning speed. It lunged, jaws agape, teeth bared. One by one it devoured the magician's serpents. The courtiers cried out in alarm. Pharaoh sat back, stunned into silence. The message was clear. God's power was real. It dwarfed the magic of Egypt. Moses looked at Pharaoh. He hoped to see a flicker of fear, a hint of understanding. But there was nothing. Pharaoh's heart was hard. He refused to yield. He clung to his pride. He would not be intimidated. He would not let a foreign god dictate his actions. God had warned Pharaoh. He had shown him a glimpse of his power. But Pharaoh's heart remained unmoved. His stubbornness would have consequences. The plagues were coming. Section 4, the Nile runs red, the Nile River, the lifeblood of Egypt. It sustained the land, nourished the people. Now it would become a source of horror. The first plague began. The crystal-clear waters turned a gruesome red. The stench of death filled the air. Fish floated lifelessly on the surface. The river, once a symbol of life, was now a symbol of death. Section 5, a cry for water. Panic gripped the land. The Egyptians depended on the Nile for everything. Now it was poisoned. They could no longer drink from it. They could no longer use it for irrigation. Their crops would wither and die. Frantic, they searched for fresh water. They dug wells, they chipped at dry riverbeds. But their efforts were in vain. The plague was widespread, there was no escape. Section 6, a glimpse of God's power. The first plague was a taste of God's wrath. It was a warning, a demonstration of his power. Pharaoh had challenged God. Now he was witnessing the consequences. But Pharaoh remained unmoved. He hardened his heart. He refused to acknowledge God's hand in the disaster. His pride would not allow it. The stage was set for a titanic struggle. God versus Pharaoh. Who would prevail? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support our channel. Stay tuned for more epic stories.